Alright guys, in this video we'll try to do an on-site compensation with an S-series FARO scanner. What you need for that is the S-series, of course, scanner that has a Wi-Fi turned on. In this case it's an access point connection, so I see the scanner serial number, hit connect, it'll ask you for a password. If you haven't changed it, it should be 0123456789, just like that. It should be connected now, which means I can fire up scene. Okay, now that scene is running, what you may have a problem with, you need a scanning category. If the scanning category is not on, what you have to do is go into options, scroll down, make sure that it's on, because if I turn it off, you see it's off. So let me turn it back on, show scanning category, it's on. Now here, if you need to print your targets, this is your file for printing. So go ahead and actually print it. I recommend the default 8.5 by 11 print times 5 because you need 5 of these targets. So let's go start the on-site compensation routine. You need to input the IP address of the actual scanner. If you haven't changed it and you're not connected to a WLAN connection, it should be the following 192.168.43 and 1 with periods in between. Hit connect, confirm the firewall exception in Windows. If you're connected, you should actually get a good green light with some information about your actual scanner. So let's hit the place targets button. If you follow the video to the end, you'll actually see me do it in real conditions. So you can follow that, but if you want to, if you're already set up, you can just hit the horizontal alignment, wait for the scanner to turn to its 0 position, because it has to find where 0 is on its horizontal circle. Once it stops, the program will ask you to actually rotate the scanner towards the first of the targets, which is the one that's facing forward or back, straight on, and then just hit the scan and compensate button. And this process will take about 15-16 minutes, so sit back and relax. Okay, so this will be a quick video on how to start an on-site compensation practically in a small space where you don't need a ladder, or you don't need to do any kind of really high target placement. So ideally, what you need to start with is the scanner, S-series scanner on a tripod that's relatively low. If you actually have a tape measure, you can measure it. I happen to know that this is about 4 feet, so it's about 4 feet to where the mirror spins. What you need to do, according to the instructions that you can actually see in scene when you fire it up, it says that you need to have a target that's straight on with where the scanner is. And this is exactly where we're going to place our first target, being about 4 feet off the ground. And I'm using really just scotch tape to attach it in this first target position. Now the second and third target need to go above and below, and it is a little bit difficult sometimes to see how far up and how far below you actually have to go. And the easiest way is actually use one of these sheets of paper, which is an 8.5 by 11 sheet that the targets are printed on, as a spacer, so I know the next one actually needs to go up about 1 paper size above. So we'll attach this here. And the same logic now prevails with going up or below. So we'll go down low, again about 1 paper size lower, so about here. This doesn't have to be super perfect, super accurate. It just has to be good enough for the compensation to work. And I've done this plenty of times in conditions where you couldn't actually get to it very easily, but it's this is probably the easiest way of actually doing it. So we go back up again. So this is about here. There. And then the fourth one, or actually the last one, pretty much, even though it doesn't look like it could, but it will go about the same paper size down here, so I'll just attach it here. Okay, targets are set. What we want to make sure of, though, is also the scanner has to be about 5 feet away from the wall. So what I'll do, again, make it easy on me, I'll just pace it out with actually walking about 5 feet. So I'll set the scanner about this distance away, and now initiate the actual compensation. And with these targets spread out the way I've done it, you don't need an inclinometer. You typically don't need a tape measure. You can do this in a hotel room. You can do this pretty much from any vantage point or at any job site, as long as the wall's pretty much flat. So let me turn it towards the target, just like the software requires me to do, and I'll just hit start. And that's it. So here's the report that should show up after a successful compensation has been run. If your targets are placed in the same way that I did it in the hands-on video, you should be able to do that. This is exactly the result of me running the same scanner that you saw in the video in the same position. So with one target on the floor, 4 targets on the wall, spaced with about 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of paper in between them as your guide, you should get successful results. My scanner happened to be shipped back and forth a couple of times, so it actually has a little bit of a misalignment over here. So go ahead and apply it. Before you do that, I actually do recommend hitting the open report and maybe printing this for your own records. So I don't have a printer connected over here, so I will not do that, but it's always a good idea to keep it for the future, just as proof that you've done it. And what I'm going to do now is actually push these newer values onto the scanner and be happy with it and get a successful compensation finished. Hopefully this video is somewhat of a guide for you guys who haven't done it and who are struggling with it, how to space it out or without the need of a ladder or something. All right, you guys, I think this is it from me. Shows you a successful compensation report and the workflow of how to actually get to it. And if you have any questions or comments, let me know below.